1989 was an amazing year for movies, and I don't think that we've come close even since. But this week on HMP, we take a look back at Uncle Buck and see if it's worthy to be mentioned among those heroes of the year. Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Welcome back, you dirty babies. It's time for another Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Sure, we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. My name is Adam Fortress, and joining me today, he longs for the days of casually smoking in a hospital. Sweet Sean Zakovacs from the internet.
No, I don't. I think that's awful. That's really bad. It's so weird, man. There's that moment where Buck's walking in he's in the elementary school smoking whatever that thing is that he smokes all the time. And I was just like, oh my God. That can't be right. That has to be off. Like you can't actually smoke in a school, and then he has the whole moment. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Bruce Leslie is out this week. His pants are in the microwave, so he couldn't be here today. So it's perfectly all right. Which is funny that I say that as the joke and everything, because right now my dryer isn't actually not working. So I'm actually in that thing, and I'm just going microwave, eh?
Just hang them up in your house. You don't need to put them in the microwave.
Well, you're right. Oven's probably a little toastier. It's nice that way.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. We are chugging along with our Thanksgiving Candy, a series on the film of the late, great John Candy. And this week we are talking Uncle Buck from 1989. But before we jump into all that, we do want to remind everybody that this show that you're listening to right now on a podcast is also a live stream on YouTube. Half-Ass Movie Podcast now is streamed every Sunday night over at YouTube. Shows start around 8 p.m. Eastern. So come out and hang out with all the other dirty babies in the chat. And if you're on YouTube there and you want to show us a little bit of extra love, why don't you drop one of those super chats, aka
Fortress Bucks.
Fortress Bucks. That's right. Everybody loves them, and we really appreciate all of you. And we love the chat. It's amazing that people are out here every single Sunday, and we thank you guys for all of that good stuff. And if you're there and have that hype button, hit that hype button as well. It's not a big thing that's in there. Make sure that Bronson here can eat every week, guys. He hungry. He a big boy. So. And he's doing God knows what. So anyways, but get on that hype train, everybody, and make sure to check out TikTok Trash Tuesday on our YouTube as well. That is where I go to YouTube and talk about movie TikToks and stuff like that. And it's a good time. We do that about 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays as well. So check all that out over at the YouTube. We really appreciate that.
Oh, my God. He's gnawing on the Indiana Jones poster.
Listen, first of all, I haven't had that Indiana Jones poster in years. I had to give that one back.
Oh, sorry.
That poster was on loan from my friend Robert, who is a HMP subscriber, as a matter of fact, everybody.
Well, thank you, Robert.
I was hoping that he would forget that poster existed. And then I felt like I had that poster literally for years. He's like, hold on to this. I'm moving. There's something. I just don't have space in the house for this. Will you hold on to this original Raiders of the Lost Ark poster? I'm like, yes, I will. And God, I fell in love with that poster. And he finally came to collect, and I was like, shit. But he gave me. I got two things out of it. They're right over there, actually, because I just found them. They were in a folder that I had here with safekeeping stuff, and they were an 8x10 autograph picture of Lawrence Kasdan, and a little small Darth Vader signed by James Earl Jones.
So let me ask you something.
That was kind of gifted me for holding on to those things for all.
That's what. So literally, it's just like he rewarded you for doing the right thing.
Yeah, keeping it not being like, what are you talking about again? Is that what you mean?
Hey, congratulations on being a kind of a good person, I guess. You could have just given him the poster back and be like, no, sir. You let me hold on to that forever. No, meanwhile, you're like, but the good part is, for absolutely free, I got a Lawrence Kasdan signed 8x10 glossy, baby. I still haven't framed that yet because I haven't done a different good deed for someone else where they will give me a frame.
Listen, I need a lot of frames, so oddly enough, I'm in quite a need for some frames. So if you want to get some quid pro quo for some frame action here, halfassmoviepod@gmail.com. We'd really like to hear from you.
Frames.
Now on our YouTube live streams there and everything, normally you're only going to find these over at patreon.com/HMP. That is when we do our Dinger Zone. And after this week's episode, we are talking our top 5 comedy actor director combos here and everything. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting Dinger Zone here. We got some good stuff. And we also want to hear from you guys as well and hear those top 5 of yours in the comments on the live stream here and everything. So head on over to patreon.com/HMP. Join up at any level, get pre-show, post-show, and that Dinger Zone, which is erased off of this show after this stream has finished here and everything. So enjoy it while you can, while it's free, and then it's gone, and then come on back and patreon.com. We appreciate all of you. Love you, love you, love you. What else? Anything else? Oh yeah, check out Bruce. Just because Bruce isn't here this week, I want to give him a plug right at the top, just so I don't forget at the bottom, because I continue to watch his 13 Days of Halloween stuff. There's a lot of stuff to go through, and they're all rather long. So, but I'll still watch them and everything. Bruce's wife is killing it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
She got over the course of everything, she's gotten super comfortable with stuff. They're going to be doing another series, a whole bunch of Christmas movies and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that because I think she's going to kind of drag him through some of those and everything. So I think the role might be reversed a little bit, which I'm kind of excited about. So
that would be great.
So check all that out. We're going to have the links for that in the show notes there as well. So check all that out and drop us an email, halfassmoviepod@gmail.com. All right, let's get into it here. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to do this real fast. Give me just a moment. Here's all the dirty babies, everybody, since we're talking Patreon here. We just want to say thank you to all you fine people. Appreciate you. Love you. Let me hit this and hit this and hit this. And sorry. Everything's a little bit funky today. There we are. Let's go into the IMDb plot line for Uncle Buck. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. Come on, prompter. You're not going fast enough for me.
Do you need me to vamp like last week?
Nope. Here we go. Okay. Laid back commitment phobic Buck babysits his brother's rebellious teenage daughter and her cute younger brother and sister. This is written and directed by John Hughes. 16 Candles, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, and my little sister's favorite John Hughes movie as a kid, Curly Sue. This is starring John Candy, Jean Louisa Kelly, Gabby Hoffman, Macaulay Culkin, Amy Madigan, Elaine Bromka, Garrett M. Brown, Jay Underwood, and Laurie Metcalf stealing every scene that she's in from everybody, which is pretty amazing.
Which she does in everything she does, because she's just fantastic. That
lady is not bad. But yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that I ever actually saw this full movie, stem to stern here and everything.
Oh, really? This is the first time you've seen it from Naybone to Nuts?
Yeah, I think I had originally just kind of seen just bits and pieces on network television and stuff like that, whatever, kind of WJCY back in the day. Just like, oh, that's that. And then you forget about it. And it's just like, oh, maybe have I seen that movie? And I think I get this confused with, several other John Candy movies of the time and stuff. So, but I got to say, I was surprised in a lot of ways, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
So what was you my guess is you were kind of a big giant fan of this growing up. Yeah.
I saw this movie in the movie theater when I was a boy, and I remembered loving it. And every couple of years you're like, oh, hey, Uncle Buck's on, and you never catch it all the way through, like you were saying earlier. Right. And so this is just one of those movies where it's impossible for me and for anyone who grew up during that era. If you watched the first season of Stranger Things and you're like, oh, hey, that could have been me and my friends, there's no way you haven't already seen Uncle Buck, and it's just part of your psyche because you've seen it so often for so many years. So I can't do the bird's eye view look at this movie. I just can't. It's impossible for me.
Right. Especially no way. When you see it at a particular age and everything, it kind of sticks with you. And there's even though you might be able to kind of look through and see some of the flaws and some of the things that some people might point at, you just kind of go yeah, but still.
This movie drags in spots. It's slow in others. It takes forever to start up. But here is my take on this movie overall, is that If you were to ask me last week what makes Uncle Buck so successful, I would have told you, oh, easy. It's John Candy and Macaulay Culkin scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case anymore. I think that the secret sauce to this movie is John Candy and the kids, because she's just as great as Macaulay Culkin is in this movie. You know, Gabby Hoffman is just incredible in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they're shot, where they're in the back of Buck's car and they got the little pom-poms on their little winter hats, and they're just the two most
All the hooks on the
adorable
chin and all
they're
of that.
just
kind of
the
stuff.
cutest two children you've ever seen in your life. And the way that the way that Candy is around those two kids, that is every scene, like that is why this movie is so great. And I know that all the trailer stuff, like making the big pancakes with a winter shovel, like that stuff, like, look, I gotta let that go. Like
With that idea and stuff, if you were to see that bit in the trailer, you would think like what you're getting with Uncle Buck is almost an Amelia Bedelia kind of situation.
Right. Well, that's a really good comp. Yes, that's kind of what they're selling in the trailer, right? Because that's all trailer stuff. Like him with the screw gun, like with the drill bit at the end of it.
That's the sell, though. That's honestly
Right.
though. Like as much as I get what you're saying, and I agree, that is how you have to sell this movie, because you can't sell it
Without a doubt.
its regular terms and everything, and just goes, he's babysitting children. You got to make people go like, what the fuck is going to happen in this movie?
Right. And it's with all of this being said, just when I think I'm about to pick up my phone, there's another scene with Candy and the kids. And I'm like, oh, well, we're going to have to pay attention here, because this is going to be the most charming and adorable thing you're going to see this week. Just stuff like that. And my takeaway from it is that it's basically John Candy giving the kids room to be great. You know, I don't know if you have a different person in that role. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that it's mean-spirited. I just don't know if they would have the grace to be able to let kids be kids. And Candy is definitely letting those kids go. And so is Hughes, quite honestly. And it's just so bloody charming. And when this movie works, it works so hard. And when it doesn't, it's fine, because it's 1989. And I had totally forgotten that, because I don't know what your reaction is, but when we're watching the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, I can't place where I know that actor from who's playing Johnny Storm. I cannot place it, and I refuse to look because I wanted to know. So when he shows up this week in this movie as the boyfriend, I was like, holy crap, that's where he's been. That is who this guy is. And I knew him long before as Bug, long before I knew him as Johnny Storm.
I knew him in, oh gosh, I can never really remember the name of it. Not Quite, I think it's called Not Quite Human. That was a Disney Channel movie where he played a robot.
It is. Yeah. And his character's name is Chip.
Yeah. I think they made 2 of those movies. I like those, but then again, I like robots. So, it's just kind of like the idea of like, oh my God, if there was like a real ass robot, that would be amazing. But no robots.
As much as I think that Candy and the two kids work, which they totally do, and you've got to be made of stone to not just smile your ass off at the Dragnet style questions that Macaulay Culkin's hitting John Candy with in that scene. That scene in my brain is far more longer than that scene actually is. That scene is not.
It's a little more Howard Hawksy in your brain than it kind of turns out to be, because it's good. It's very good.
Yes,
but it's not as good as what your memory was of that, for sure.
And that scene is what, 20 seconds, but in my brain that's a 5-minute long scene. So like to watch it again this week and to see just how short it is gives you an idea of just how effective that scene is.
Your problem was you were watching the dailies, so
Well, there is that, and we'll get to that in a minute because I have a lot to say about dailies and stuff because we'll get to that later. My point I'm trying to get to is that the actress who plays Tia, who I don't think is bad, and if Screen Rant is to be believed, because they wrote an article about it in like 2020 or something about Uncle Buck. They were supposed to have, like, Winona Ryder was supposed to play the Tia character, but she was too busy working on Heathers that she couldn't make the time to do that role. And I got to be honest with you, I think having that actress there is probably better than having Winona Ryder, because like it becomes the Winona Ryder show the second that
it would have taken away from it as well. Yeah. Isn't it interesting though that like stylistically Hughes kind of is styling the same girl a lot, so to speak, in different ladies?
Yes,
because it looks like Juliette Lewis in Vacation and stuff. Like it looks like a lot of his characters. His ladies look like that.
Right, they do. And my issue, because I think that the girl playing Tia is a pretty good actress, and just looking at her filmography, you see that she is, because she's still working. Like, I mean, she's in Top Gun Maverick, for God's sake. Like, it continues to work.
Yeah, most of the people here were pretty well working people throughout the years, for sure.
Right. But I think that her scenes don't work with John Candy. And the reason why I don't think they do until the end of the movie, and I think the reason why it doesn't is because it's so very clear that actress loves John Candy. And like, so when she's like snarling at him and like at him, it doesn't come off like Jeannie from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It comes off like you are an actress pretending that you were mad at John Candy. And I don't think those scenes work nearly as much as the very, very cute scenes with Hoffman and Culkin, you know?
Yeah, she's... And like, it's tough to like, you have to, I think at the end of the day, you got to put it on John Hughes's shoulders for this one. But like the level, it's not there. It's not there. And there's just a dark meanness to this character that like, it's tough to end up trying to forgive her, because she's being a little bastard. I don't know. Like, what were your thoughts? Like, again, somebody that kind of grew up on this far more than I did. What were your thoughts on her? Just like, because as an adult, you look at her and just be like, oh, this child is being a piece of garbage.
Well, I mean, of course, my thoughts on this have changed over time. I mean, I saw this when I was younger than the girl who's playing Tia, the first time I saw it. Like, I'm older than Macaulay Culkin, but I'm younger than the oldest daughter,
Yeah. I'm the age of the youngest daughter, but due to size, I was the size of Macaulay Culkin during. I watched Home Alone, and I was just like, we're the same age. He's like 2 years older than me, but because he's such a tiny little guy, it kind of matches up.
Right. So, the first time around, I'm going to guess at this because I don't know. I'm going to guess that I was like, she's being unrightfully mean to John Candy. Hey, leave Uncle Buck alone is probably the way I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're when you're in college and you're watching this movie, it's kind of like, I kind of get it. Like, give that girl some space, that kind of thing. But now, when you're an adult man with grown children, you look at that movie and you're like, hey, shut up, kid. He's just trying to help you.
He's doing a very responsible thing for somebody who's kind of seen as an irresponsible person.
And he's trying harder than your actual parents also. Like, there's that part too.
You're right. That doesn't really kind of get addressed there or anything, but you're not wrong there. He kind of cares a little bit more about her than her actual parents kind of do. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, and again, coming from a John Hughes script, that's not really surprising. Let's be honest.
Right. Well,
his dad had the greatest of relationships, if I'm to venture a guess.
No kidding. But you can also do the mental gymnastics to make that work, where you're like, well, Buck probably he doesn't want her to go down the same path he did, so he has to work twice as hard. You can do all that mental gymnastics for that, right? But my point is that watching this movie last night, I'm not seeing this as like the character working in the movie. I'm seeing it literally as an actress working with John Candy, an actor that she really, really likes working with.
Yeah.
And so everything is a performance instead of like, oh, this is just a character in a movie. You know, I'm literally seeing it.
It's just like,
Yeah,
like,
there's too much mustard on it, and there's too much gleam in that girl's eye of like, I cannot believe I'm working with John Candy right now. Like you could totally feel it when you're watching. I did a bit of research on this movie, and I want to get to this because we need to get into this fact where the internet is ruining us all. Because there is a I think it's 2020. There is a Screen Rant article about Uncle Buck, and I think about 70% of this is fake. And I just want to run some by you and see what you have to say. These are some of the things that they talked about in the Screen Rant article. So, according to Screen Rant, possible casting choices for Uncle Buck. Well, first of all, I think that Uncle Buck was written for John Candy in the first place. And I think
like based upon what we know, and especially what we saw in the documentary and everything last week, the friendship between these two, you telling me that he ain't write this for him? Don't believe that.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't believe it at all. And listen to some of these names, right? There's way more names than I'm listed than I'm actually going to read out here. John Goodman. Okay, but John Goodman isn't a known thing yet.
He hasn't hit yet. Not really. No.
Not really. Bill Murray. Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is Uncle Buck. Horseshit.
I just don't believe it, man. I just don't believe that's true.
Why at that time in his career and everything, why would this be what he does?
I just don't.
And first of all, how old is he in 1989? He's not.
I mean, he's probably 30.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got to be like 30, right? Yeah.
He's probably 45 in 1989.
Tom Cruise is a million years old. Scientology keeps young kids.
Jim Belushi.
I mean, I could buy it. You know,
I'm calling horseshit on that. Dudley Moore. Dudley Moore.
That's a different movie then, for sure.
1989 Dudley Moore is like 50 years old. What are we talking about here?
Great
Dudley Moore. Yeah, okay. Robin Williams, obviously, that seems like the easy fix there if you can't get Candy.
Yeah, that would be fun. It would be a different kind of movie. The wackiness would go up and everything, and the heart could still be there with him. But I don't know how Robin Williams would jibe with John's sensibilities, if you will.
I think there is a sweetness that would be missing where like he's looking at the kids in the back seat when he's about to take him to the racetrack for the fixed horse race, and you can see the look in his eyes that he's like, I can't do this to these kids. I'm pretty sure Robin Williams could pull that off.
Oh yeah.
But I think that Robin Williams' first thing would be, oh, I've got to make some jokes here. And so that ruins that moment, that very, very good moment in this movie, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's tough to say, especially at that particular time in his career, because like once you kind of got like mid 90s and stuff, Williams was kind of like branching out and doing a couple more kind of thematic sort of things, and not necessarily always going towards comedy. And a lot of those, were really good too. Like 1 Hour Photograph's amazing.
Oh, I do like that movie. 1 Hour Photo's good. But here's the big one, man. And trust me when I tell you, I know that I've just named off a bunch of names. There's like 15 more names in the Screen Rant article.
Yeah, those are guesses. Those are just like, hey, here's a person that was famous at the time.
But here's the one that really got me, where I was like, I think Screen Rant doesn't know what they're talking about. Also considered for the role of Uncle Buck, Jack Nicholson.
What?
I don't believe that. I think that is complete horseshit. I think that's a kid who's 23 years old, and he's got to make I got to make deadlines so that I can hit the website with this. I got to publish this. What is something saucy I could put here? Jack Nicholson. Who's going to be able to look it up? Nobody. It's
Yeah,
2020.
exactly. They weren't keeping notes back then, except for the fact that it's 1989 and Jack Nicholson is a little movie called Batman, which would
Right.
make him an ungodly amount of money for the rest of his life.
Right.
Why on God's green earth would he step foot one on a John Hughes film?
Well, I
Not
mean,
for nothing.
it's also one of those things where, like, it makes literally no sense at all, and I think that I think that it is a kid who's got a deadline coming, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll put in Jack Nicholson. I really do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting paid by the word here, which I don't think they do. But so there's that.
If they were paid by the word, they would actually end articles on the internet. You ever just be reading an article and it's just like when they're done, they're done. They're just like, fuck you, that's the end of it. We're not going, and like you're scrolling and I'm like, are there just ads at this point? Is there no other? Oh no, you were done. You just kind of decided you were stopping the words and it's just finished.
Well,
I hate
you got the saucy mouth tonight, Portress.
What can I say? I'm a little bit jazzed.
Got a little pepper in your food there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of other things in the Screen Rant article. One I was actually able to check, which is that originally they were supposed to shoot this. This seems impossible, but I did check this out to see if this was true, because you can look this up. They're supposed to originally shoot this in St. Louis, but because it was unseasonably warm and Uncle Buck is supposed to be shot in winter, they ended up, guess what? John Hughes has the perfect place that's going to be wintertime when you need it to be winter. That's Chicago.
Well, son of a gun.
And so it's just because I didn't believe this either, but I looked it up. I was like, oh, wow, they really were going to shoot in St. Louis. That's crazy. So they end up shooting, because there's not really sound stages in Chicago. At least at the time there weren't. There is now. They basically, you make your own sound stages. You turn something into warehouses into sound stages for your movie, right? And at the time, they shoot at a gym at North Trier High School. So all of those sets, the interior Uncle Buck house, the house that he's in, with the kids, all of those sets were shot at a gymnasium at a high school, which I just find fascinating, but they did.
Which is weird because Home Alone was shot in a swimming pool of a high school. I wonder if they've got this, if the people are the same, if the location.
It might be.
I wouldn't be. That's some weird ass, coinky dink here that in these John Hughes films that we are like reappropriating these areas like that are like wildly not normally seen as soundstage material. They're like, build the Home Alone thing in this pool. Like, what? But that's what they did.
I can tell you from experience that if you're going to take a warehouse, if you're going to turn a warehouse into sound stages, you definitely want something that's not in the flight path. And schools most of the time are not going to be in a flight path because you don't want your kids having to deal with that, right?
Yeah, it's hey, Johnny was out at recess today, and all of a sudden, 747 engine came down. Oops.
So you're not going to be around heavy traffic. You're not going to be around heavy trains. You're not going to be around planes. And so sound
or automobiles for that matter. Got it. Sorry.
It makes sense. It makes sense to shoot in a high school gymnasium. It really does. It's kind of smart, and you probably are renting it for pennies on the dollar because the school is like, well, it's summer. Yeah, go right ahead. It's a good idea. Good idea.
Now I'm going to go to location scout to go like, who's doing all these? Who's putting these in these houses, in these gymnasiums?
My favorite fact about this movie is that in the middle of shooting one night, John Candy and the music supervisor decide that they're going to go out, right? So they go out, they hang out, they're hanging out with the locals all night. And apparently they had a very, very good time. And the way that John Hughes finds out is that he's driving to work and and he's listening to the radio, and on the morning radio show, somebody calls in and goes, "Hey, I've got a great story about what happened to me last night. I ran into John Candy and some music guy who works on the John Candy movie that's shooting here. They had a very, very good time. Hughes goes and sees Candy, like Candy shows up for work, and Candy is in no shape to do the work. And Hughes is like, "What are you doing? We're shooting a movie here, and I'm coked out of my mind. So, you know, I need you to work all the time." And that's my own 2 bits. But Candy's like, "Well, I figured that, you know, it's going to be okay because I have to look disheveled anyway. So like it should be fine." And Hughes is like, and Hughes is like, "No, go home, get some sleep, get rested, and we'll hit it hard tomorrow." And I just found that so funny. Like, I can't even imagine Hughes driving to work and hearing this and just the frustration he must have felt at the time, because this is one of the 3 movies that he has with Universal, right? Like, Hughes Entertainment has a 3-picture deal with Universal, and this is the second one of those 3 movies. And so he kind of needs to make all of this work. And the first one is The Great Outdoors, which is fine. It doesn't make a ton of money. It does fine though. And he really needs Uncle Buck to work, right? Mm-hmm. And so John Candy just going out and blowing it up is pretty funny. Oh, and the third movie that is in the Universal deal, any guesses what the Hughes Entertainment 3-picture deal with Universal is? Take a guess. It's after Uncle Buck, and it's the last movie with Universal.
No, I'm just like, Weird Science was earlier. I'm trying. I never can figure out his order. Like, it's always a jumble in my brain. I'm just.
Right, because you're a little bit younger. I totally forget. So it's The Great Outdoors. It's Uncle Buck, and then I think it's 2 years later is Career Opportunities.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
To the outsider, you're thinking, well, Uncle Buck is clearly the most successful of these movies. And if you're just talking about financially, yes, but in a very different way. If you are 13 years old and you come across Career Opportunities, that is one of the linchpin hallmark movies of your life. And you know when someone ran across Career Opportunities at the right moment, because if you ask people like, "Hey, who was the actress that you really had a giant crush on?" If they say Jennifer Connelly, those people have seen Career Opportunities.
Amen.
And that, to me, to 13-year-old Sean, is maybe the most successful movie ever made. A girl has never been an object of desire more than Jennifer Connelly in Career Opportunities.
When my dad suggested that movie, he was like, "Hey, we're gonna rent this movie called Career Opportunities," and I was just like, "Oh my God, no!" That because on paper, if somebody just says, "Hey, we're gonna watch a movie called Career Opportunities," that sounds awful to like a 9-year-old or whatever it was. But it was just like, "Ooh, why? No, let's not watch that." And then you watch it like, "Oh my God, this movie's great!" But like, it's just the name alone was not a seller to a young man.
It is a terrible name,
but fantastic film. So
one of the things that I want to talk about is that there is another YouTube channel, believe it or not, that's not run by Adam Portress.
What the hell?
And it's called Hats Off Entertainment. Do you know anything about this channel?
Cannot say that I do.
This guy does an amazing job if you are a comedy nerd. I don't know how he gets the research that he does. I don't know how he gets all of this information that he does.
As we all do, Screen Rant.
No, sir. and he does the research, man. This guy works so hard, and like he has this like 15-minute video up about the lost edit of Uncle Buck and how Hughes used to do this thing where, you know, he would let his guys go. So like Candy, Steve Martin, you know, any of the guys who are like comedy guys, he lets them go in his movies. And so there'll be a 3-hour edit of Uncle Buck. There's a 3-hour edit of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but it doesn't reach the light of day because for some reason John Hughes isn't just like, oh, let's throw this onto, some 4K or some Blu-ray, special feature thing. He never did that, right? And so there's a completely lost edit of Uncle Buck, and there's all of these multiple scenes in the movie that he brings up. Like there's an entire storyline where Macaulay Culkin's character is having trouble making friends at school. And how Uncle Buck starts turning him into basically like a celebrity at school because he keeps giving him these crazy lunches. So the lunch thing goes like it goes up in volume, right? So what we see, he's not sure if it's the midway point or the beginning of it, but it's definitely not the top, right? So what ends up happening is that like there's an entire scene where there's a crowd of kids at one point around Mac as he's pulling out stuff from lunch. And so he pulls, I want to see this scene so bad, man. He didn't have it. He didn't have the footage, but Mac pulls out a sandwich and he goes, tuna. And all the kids around him are like, And there's a pause and he goes, with no mayonnaise. And the crowd goes crazy around him. And I'm just like, this seems like an amazing thing that I want to see all of this stuff. And like Uncle Buck is at like a hockey game at one point where he's shooting like at the halftime show, trying to get pucks into the goal and like stuff like that into the net.
Well, listen, it's a Canadian. You just got to let them go sometimes. I think it's contractually obligated to just be like, I got to have at least one hockey scene in here. Whether it makes the film or not, that doesn't matter to me. We need to put it on the schedule.
But he has all these stills, the guy, right? Like he has all of these stills. So that they shot it. And he even there's an Uncle Buck trailer where there's a scene that isn't in the movie because they used to do that all the time in the 80s. I don't know if you remember that or not. There'd be a scene where like, oh, this is a really funny joke. We'll put this in the trailer, but we'll never put it in the movie.
Yeah, and then it never hits the edit and you're like, what is this? I've been waiting for this joke the entire thing. Nope.
It's what I call the Major League problem because Major League's best joke is in the trailer and that joke isn't even in the movie. That ball wouldn't have been out of a lot of ballparks. Name one: Yellowstone. Killer joke for baseball fans. Killer joke. Anyway, this guy found that and he puts it in this 15-minute video. He's Hats Off Entertainment is the name of his channel. And he does a ton of research that we could never do because we're lazy and not good at our jobs. But this guy's awesome. This guy's awesome, man. And like sometimes he does research on stuff where I'm like, why would anyone ever bother to do that? And it just makes it so fascinating. Like he'll do a deep dive on like a TV show that lasted for one season. And you're just like, I don't understand your fascination with this, but I'm going to keep watching this because you're making it interesting, even though I know that show was awful. He does stuff like that all the time on the channel.
I mean this with like the nicest, way you can and everything, but I think that there is a, at least access to like with access to YouTube and everything like that. And so is people with kind of like, for lack of a better word, like autistic niches and stuff like that can really nail into things and do stuff that nobody else out there is kind of doing. And it's kind of wild to see somebody that will put, like you said, that much thought and, work into getting all that information and stuff together. And some of those channels do it really damn well. And it's like, God bless. Because I couldn't. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, I need to write a paper. I've tried doing that. I can't.
It's why the toy train industry has gone into the shitter, is because those people used to just be completely fascinated by toy trains, and they'd go in their basement and it just put together trains all day. But now that you have an outlet for that and you can make content that like scratches an itch that you have, and like-minded people can get together and like, oh, the Three Stooges cartoon from the 70s. Let's do a deep dive on that. And there's 7 people who are like, finally, someone made the video I've been asking for 40 years. And so like that part to me is very, very cool. And they're not just in their basement like for 7 hours while everyone's enjoying Thanksgiving dinner upstairs, you know. I love it. I think it's great. And I've watched a lot of this guy's stuff. I don't think he's autistic. I think that he's just a massive comedy nerd, man.
Just one of the nerds that just kind of be like, well, I'm going down. And there's that certain person that's just like, I'm going to go down this, rabbit hole there and not come out until I'm, fully through it.
Right. Last factoid that I came across for this is that I watching it this last time around, I've always admired it, but this time I wondered what happened to it. Buck pulls out the bowling ball with his name on it, and it's just an incredible prop. It's a custom made job. It's a real bowling ball. They did amazing work on that thing, right? It goes up for auction a couple of years ago. At the auction, they think they're going to end up getting, $6,000-$7,000 for it, which is about right. Like that's what you think it's going to get. It sells for $22,000. It is a bowling ball. $22,000, man. But here's the thing. From this movie, it might be the only thing that I would want from this movie is that bowling ball. Like if you wanted a prop, like if you're playing the Bill Simmons game, like it would be the only prop that I would want from this movie, I think.
I want a griddle that'll be that big for my kitchen. How's that
what
work?
Is the story there? Like, how does that work out?
It's like, now granted, you could do it today with like a Blackstone or something like that. Just wrongly put that inside of your house and do something along those lines. But let's just like stay for that. It's like, I listen, and I love the big pancake. I love the big pancake scene. It's super fun. The kids are just like very elated with it and everything. Exactly what you would feel like these kids would feel like if they saw that sort of thing. And I love the like pound and a half of butter that's just pad of butter that's just on the top of it and everything. It's just great.
I literally was trying to figure out what that pad of butter actually is because it's too big. It couldn't possibly be better. Or
you molded something that was the appropriate.
Portrait's giving heat to them Blackstone people, huh?
Hey, listen, Blackstone, if you want to send me one and we'll make a video, I'll figure some shit out. I don't know. Send me a big
I'll never be a part of it, Blackstone. So it will be a good video. Nobody cares. That would be my whole video. No one cares about this. This is
he's
stupid.
making smash burgers in his backyard. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? So Amy Madigan. She is really good in this movie. I could not remember where I knew her from, and I had to look it up this time. She's from Field of Dreams. That's where I know her the most. Another baseball reference. Sports guy. But she's also in, like Gone Baby Gone and stuff. And when I learned today, literally today, that she's Gladys in Weapons.
Makes the whole pitter patter of little feet sound a little bit different, when you're looking back at it now. It's like, oh yeah, I bet you would like to hear all those feet running towards your door, crazy psycho lady. She was great in that movie, so good. She like honestly, I had no idea.
I had no idea it was her, man. I had no clue. Bananas.
She's really good in this movie because she feels like a real person. She feels like somebody that would be working at this tire shop that would date John Candy because he's kind of a scumbum a little bit, but he's magnanimous enough. He's a sweet enough guy that you feel like he could probably have pulled this girl, and she's just like, everybody's a little older and stuff. So they're kind of just holding on to this thing. And, they want she wants the relationship to go through. And I think he, to a degree at least does, but he's still, like the IMDb plotline said, the commitment phobic. So he was always kind of just teetering on that line there and everything. And it's a great movie because it just shows that, hey, like sometimes you just need that kind of like little experience there and everything to kind of go out and be like, hey, you know what? This is what it would kind of be like. Test drive some kids. There's a movie called Rent a Kid with Leslie Nielsen and Matt, what's his flipping last name? Damn it. He was on Seinfeld for like a half second. Played Lloyd Braun. That movie is just stupid. Just stupid. Fantastic. I'll rent a kid. Check it out.
I would say to you that what I love about Amy Madigan in this movie is that she's playing it very real, right? Like the kind of the superpower of John Candy is that he can go into like big broad comedy and then dial it back into realism. That is his superpower as an actor. But Amy Madigan is just playing it real the entire time, and you know, like when she sees him dancing in that scene, which is just the greatest dancing scene I've ever seen in my life. Like it's the least sexy dancing you've ever seen in your entire life. No one will walk in on that and be like, "Oh, my stars and garters, they're having an affair." No one would say that. It's what makes it work so well.
The lecherous things that are going on in this house right now. How could you?
But the way Amy Madigan plays it in that scene is literally perfect, because if you go too broad with it, then you don't like her anymore. And if you go too little with it, then why isn't she defending herself? And so she really just, she's dancing on that raggedy edge, baby. And she's doing a great job.
Yeah, and like we said, Laurie Metcalf coming in is kind of the neighbor who's trying to mac on John Candy and everything. It's just
throwing 102 miles an hour. That lady throws nothing but heat. She's even great on things that suck. She's even great in that. I can remember seeing her because my kids loved The Big Bang Theory, or as my dad called it, that show with them nerds and the one gay guy who pretends he's not gay. I remember seeing her on that show and thinking she's still amazing, even though they're giving her literally nothing.
Yeah,
they're giving her nothing
in that, and she's just like, she developed a character and everything, and just really leaned into it, and just the quirkiness that she kind of brings to so many of her characters and everything. But she can also do very straight stuff too. I know, like I think a lot of people remember her as a comedic actress mostly, but like she can do some straight stuff as well. And even though this is broadly comedy, she's doing it, you know, for real. She's just like, I'm just like, this is what this character would do, man. And it's so much fun.
Man, I am part of the Laurie Metcalf fan club. I'm not president. I'm sure there's somebody who like just is like insane about that lady just because she would garner that sort of support. But my God, man, anytime she's in something, I'm like, yes, because at least I know that her part's going to be great.
She's going to bring something to it that another actor certainly would be bringing to that role and everything.
It's so funny when she comes in during her first scene and how bizarre she's behaving in that scene, and that's not the character, because the character later is thirsty as hell, right? So like I wonder what made her make that choice, where it's like it's almost like she's playing her like that lady who got caught in that giant scam where she was like going to revolutionize healthcare, and she's got the pills and stuff like that, and she has that affected weird voice when she's talking that she doesn't talk like that anymore. And and that's kind of the performance Laurie Metcalf's giving off way before that lady did that. You know, so like where did that come from, Laurie Metcalf? It's just so cool to watch, man.
She sits back and just goes like, this movie's got something. I'm gonna write this down. Take that into my personal life. That lady did.
Holy shit! I totally forgot. Amy Madigan's best role is in a show that I found very hard to watch, Carnival, and she is amazing on that show. I totally forgot how great she is in it. I think we're hopping all over the place today.
I think I saw a trailer for that, and I was just like, I don't need to watch this.
It's super depressing. There's no reason to watch it, man.
Yeah, we'll quickly touch on Macaulay Culkin again. Really good here. You can kind of tell that like this is John Hughes saw a little something in this kid. It's not perfect. He hasn't gotten it quite to that level yet that you'd see in Home Alone, to where he's just kind of got it perfected. But it is also, I think, because of him that 1989 was the year that like your parents had to watch out for you. because and certainly mine did, because I was, you don't be talking back at the Portress household. I'll tell you that much right now. And let me tell you something. Macaulay Culkin and Bart Simpson, the 1-2 punch of those
Oh,
two,
wow. Yeah.
bad news bears for a kid that might be a talkbacker, and everything.
That's
like
funny, man. I had never put those two things together, but you're absolutely right. He's mixing it up with them adults, giving him
yeah,
the business. And Bart Simpson, I mean, my God, I can remember a babysitter one time for my kids trying to explain to me that you can't have your kids speak back to us the way that they do, because we always spoke to our daughters like they were adults, like there was
yeah.
no kid. But because of that, you get talk back. Like that's just what happens with kids. And the babysitter herself was like, I listen to the way that your children speak to you, and that's not right. They sound like that Bart Simpson talking to his parents, is how they put it.
Yeah.
And I turned to their mom and I was like, we're going to talk about this later. She's referencing Bart Simpson as a bad thing. Like it didn't even occur to me. Like, oh, there's people who probably hate this. Like it didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, that was the Simpsons were kind of like, that was another one that they were just like, listen, we don't want to have our kid just talking back all the time and everything like that. So they curbed that for a little bit, but by like season 3, there's forget about it. It's too much of a phenomenon. There's zero way that you can not be aware of the Simpsons at this point. It just gets to be far too much. So and then you just realize like, listen. There's a lot worse. That was, what I think probably curtailed it the most? Beavis and Butthead. Because then it's just like, the Simpsons ain't nothing. I mean, Beavis and Butthead is just like, oh my God, we certainly can't allow this.
Yeah.
When I even heard the name Butthead, I was like, there's no way they would get away with that on television, naming something Butthead. How could they even do that?
You know what's funny? I think I just put this together. That Beavis and Butthead was a national nightmare until King of the Hill came out. And once King of the Hill comes out, all those people who are like, we hate Beavis and Butthead is the worst. They're like, oh, wait a minute, he's one of ours. Oh, no, Beavis and Butthead's fine. like retroactively, Beavis and Butthead's okay. It was so strange. I just put that together. Yeah. Macaulay Culkin, by the way, he and Gabby Hoffman also, just like, they might be the cutest children ever made. They're just so, I don't know how they're brother and sister, they don't look anything alike, but my God, those kids are so cute in this movie. Like, look, I am about as mean-spirited as a person can get at times. I understand that, but my God, man, like they're so damn cute. I can't take it watching this movie.
Yeah, all I'm saying is like then in Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin's looking at his mom and just goes, "I am upstairs, dummy." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'd have been knocked into next week, bro. I would not have survived." I was like, the kid's taking his life in his own hands. I don't know what he's doing over there. My house, you be gone. It's like mom would take a round and then dad would get one later going, "You did what now?"
Oh man.
Want that, man. Thank God dad worked a whole bunch. So it's just my greatest move that mom ever did to kind of, because you got 3 kids there and dad's not around, he's at work there and everything, but you got to make sure everybody's going to sleep. So we had mom would do it. The best violence was just the threat of violence. She would just be like, "All right, time to go to bed here." She's like, "Right here on the doorknob, I'm going to put the belts right there just in case I need it." And so that was enough of a deterrent to be like, "All right, listen, time to go to bed."
That's great.
It's like, smart move, parents. Smart move. Just kind of like, I ain't got nobody else to call. Little threat of violence never hurt nobody.
Last thing I want to bring up, the clown in this movie.
Oh, yes.
Did you recognize him? Do you know who is the clown?
I do now. Like, I was hearing and everything, and I was just like, why is this familiar? Who is it? And I had to look it up at the time because I was just like, it's scratching my brain here. Who is this? Go ahead.
Mike Starr plays the clown. Mike Starr, the guy from Dumb and Dumber, who they kill in the diner with his heart medication and the cheeseburger. He is the clown. And this is another one of those scenes that is not in the movie, but was in the script, where there is a knockdown, drag out fight. It's not just 2 punches to the clown, and the clown is out. They're going after each other. At one point, Candy rips an ear off of the puppy car, like all that stuff. And what ends up happening is that Macaulay, like, because only 3 kids show up to his birthday party. Like, it doesn't, you don't really recognize it at the time until you learn, like, that behind the scenes thing of, like, oh, Macaulay Culkin is unpopular in class. Like, he's having a hard time making friends in school.
The storyline we haven't seen. Yeah.
Right. So but there's only 3 kids at his birthday party. So to hire a clown for a birthday party with 4 kids at it is like that's pretty low rate, right?
Hey, don't you know anything about John Hughes families? They all got some bread.
So, well, yes. Just look at their homes.
None of these kids poor. I don't think. You tell me I'm wrong, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think there's a John Hughes family out there that don't got a little bit of money.
I mean, Jesus, Uncle Buck is supposed to be the poor one in the family, and he literally lives across the street from Wrigley Field. Like something that is like probably at the time in 1989, it cost $2,500 for a 1-bedroom at the time. Anyway, the part I'm trying to get to here is that there's 3 kids at the party. It's yet another moment where Uncle Buck is by mistake making Macaulay Culkin's character famous at school, because the 3 kids go back and like, you're never going to believe what happened at this birthday party. It's amazing. And so, like, every kid at school is like, God, I wish I would have gone. Oh, I would have seen a clown fight. Just terrific.
Yeah, I wish they would have kind of had a little bit more stuff like that. That would have been fun, I think. All right, well, let's get down to it. What is your rating and recommendations for Uncle Buck from 1989?
Yeah, I mean, I can't pull this out of my brain pan. You know, this is just one of those movies. When I think of John Candy, this is one of the 2 movies I think of like great John Candy movies. And so Uncle Buck is, you know, it's out of 5 gigantic pancakes, it's a 4.5. Like, this movie isn't perfect, but John Candy with the 2 child actors is. And so it's totally worth your time for that alone. But it's 4.5 for me. 4.5 gigantic pancakes.
I think I'm gonna go a nice solid 3 giant pancakes, but they're giant pancakes, and so pancakes go a long way. Even smaller pancakes, you know, you eat half a stack of pancakes, you're already just like, I need to go to bed. So 3 large pancakes is still rather filling here and everything. But like I said, part of it's the relationship with the oldest daughter there and everything is a little bit kind of rough. That's the harshest part.
It does grate on you for sure. Yeah.
Just and she's actively, like, this man is trying, like, I understand her thought process of that he's trying to be a bummer. I get it. But at the same time too, he's doing a big favor here. He's doing all of this stuff, and she is just actively trying to ruin his entire life to the point where I'm just like, you'd be a saint if you gave a person who was just like purposely just going like, hey, I'm talking to your girlfriend and tell him she's cheating on you and all this shit. It's just like, dude, this is wild stuff for this kid. And him to just be like, oh, well, I'll forgive you for being a complete and utter jerk is stretching a little credulity in that time. I'd be like, I would just strangle this little girl. Why is she trying to ruin my entire life? I get it. Your parents suck. I'm not your parents, so stop taking it out on me. But then again, that's a John Hughes film, so you're bound to have that message at some point. And I'm surprised we didn't get more of a talking down to the parents and him kind of just being like, listen, you guys need to be the better parents that I was while you were gone, or something like that. Thank God.
But I mean, that's not Hughes' style, man. Hughes never wrote like that. It's kind of why he's such a famous writer, is that he, you know, like, those moments don't exist in his movies. Well, he does have the moments of, like, when teens are talking where you're just like, Jesus Christ, man, like, can we move forward? Like, don't you get it, man? She loves you, and if you don't understand that, then I'm sorry. Sorry for you. And, like, they storm off, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, John Hughes. What are you doing? What are we
In
doing?
Breakfast Club, when it's just like they're bitching about their parents, I'd be like, if I was your parents, I'd probably be bad at you too. You sound like a little asshole. It's like, listen, I'm not hearing the dad's side of the story here. I feel like we need to hear the other half of the equation before we really get down into like, he beats me. Just out of nowhere, he beats you. I mean, like, listen, if that's the case, I'm really, really sad. But I don't know that based upon the attitude that we see, I don't know that it's out of nowhere.
You don't think that vice principal would rather be watching college football right now than at Saturday school, Saturday detention with you? Get out of here.
Wouldn't want to do that, man. It's ridiculous. Well, that is it, everybody. We got another John Candy film under our belts here, but we got another one yet underway. I figure, hey, we might as well watch the movie before they ruin it with a sequel, and that's Spaceballs, the movie. One of my favorites growing up. If you were a Star Wars kid, my guess is you probably love Spaceballs, unless you're one of those weird ones. I want to hear from somebody if indeed this is you, and I want only real ones. Only the real ones will have this. If you watch Spaceballs as a kid and you were just like, it's making fun of the thing that I love and ergo I hate it, and you couldn't laugh at the jokes in it and stuff like that, I'd love to hear from that person. I don't know that person exists, but I'd love to hear that.
Give me like a 3 Mississippi of silence. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those kids.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk about this next week, everybody, because that's an interesting story. Because I could see it. I could see it at the time that, but we'll get into it. But excited to see old Barf there on screen yet again, and we'll talk about how they're probably going to ruin it with a sequel. How many years later?
They're not gonna ruin it. It'll just be bad. Like it'll be like History of the World Part 2. How did that ruin History of the World Part 1?
That's fair. It's fair. Yeah, you're right. You're true. Yeah. It doesn't we can just ignore it.
Yeah.
Like we did with History of the World Part 2.
I've never seen the sequel to Get Shorty. I never will. I don't have to.
No, yeah, exactly. It's called I took the ride. We're good. Yeah. No need for any of that extra stuff. So we'll be covering Spaceballs next week with Bruce Leslie back. In the meantime, Sean, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can go to YouTube, you can go to iTunes, you can go to the catcher of your choice, and you can hear my nasally New England twang and the way that I stutter when I have multiple thoughts at the same time. Oh, it's great.
He be thinking, just give him a break, okay? Give him a break. The man be thinking about stuff.
Oh, he's a big thinker. That guy's a big thinker.
He think hard, real hard. He's one of them smart boys. But yeah, so check all that kind of good stuff out over on the YouTube and all of those fun things. That is it, everybody. Join us next week when we're talking Spaceballs, the movie. For Sweet Sean's Kovacs from the internet and Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Portress. Get out there and watch the movies, you dirty babies.
Not yet. There it is.
All right.